Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I've got the blank, which is great, and I've got the X, which is good. But what's bad is the W and the two U's. Now I can play off the two U's by playing U2, but that would leave NWX, which isn't great and it only scores 6 points. The other alternative play which springs to mind is Zoo, XU, but that leaves W and U on my rack and only scores 18 points. I'm therefore going to change. Certainly changing the two U's and the W. Do I also change the X? Yes, I do. With the blank, my priority is to get a bingo. And I should have one. This is quite a promising rack. I need to mentally run through the alphabet in my mind to see if I have a 7-letter bingo, but I also have 5 floaters to consider. Let me just run through the alphabet for a 7. I'm up to F and I haven't seen anything. Fentheon. Fentheon has come to mind, and that plays through the H. I was looking for a 7. But I've seen an 8, and that's not great because it stops one square short of a double word square, so I'm looking for something better. I'm up to M, and I have seen nothing further. Gosh, I'm surprised. I thought there'd be quite a choice here. Okay, well, I haven't seen any 7s at all. I've seen Fentheon through the H. What about the A? Fetation is good. Great. Oh, that's totally great. I don't need to look for anything better than this, because this hits a double-double, which is better than a triple word square. So fetation for 90 points, that's a great score. I draw the J, which is a good scoring tile, and the rest of the rack's not bad. If I play off just JA, I would leave myself with great, which is quite a reasonable leave. But I also have a number of short words available. There's Jag, there's Jarter, and I note that I can play JA at K4 down, as well as, well, Jag in that spot would be better. I don't think I have a bingo with this rack. I certainly don't have a 7. There may be an 8, but I don't think there is. I'm just looking at the floaters on the board in case a bingo pops into my mind, but it hasn't happened. Well, that's a good score for my opponent, and it takes out my spot for Jag. But what my opponent has done is provided an opportunity, or a great place for me to play Jarter. And that's 56 points, and it takes out the triple word squares in column 1. It totally takes out H1, and, well, it doesn't take out O1, but it restricts access to it. And the rack leave of GER, well, it's not as good as Rate, which I would have had after Jag, But when you're looking at a score of 56 points, that more than compensates for the deterioration in the rack leave. Now I've put these tiles down fairly quickly. Is there anything better than Jarter? No, I don't think there is. I pick up the X again, together with the U. But hopefully I can play my way through this. I've got X purge at F5 across. That places the X on the triple letter square. And I've got Prex at C6 down, which places the X on that square and enables it to score twice. So that's a big score. And my opponent continues to score. He has back-to-back bingos, but fortunately I can keep scoring, and this should put me back in the lead. The rack leave here of CUG is awful, but 59 points is a great score. Now, is there anything better? I'm looking to see if there's anything better in the same spot. The word would have to end EX. It would be nice to put the G, C or P at B6, but that's not possible. Now where else is really good for my X? Well, nowhere that can compete with this spot. I'm fortunate, my rack could have been a lot worse after retaining CUG. I'm going to be close to a bingo. I have recurring through the N of U-King. That would be fabulous. I'm not sure if I have any other bingos with this rack. At the moment I have a 26-point lead, which is quite slender. So it would be great to be able to play recurring. If that spot is taken, what am I looking to do with my rack? Well, certainly play off the U and one of the R's. So if I played off rug, my rack leave of rice would be pretty good. But I'm unlikely to be able to score well. Berg in column 1 from the B of Bryonies is obstructed by Jarter. Superb. Recurring is available. Yep, I think that's in the right spot. Just checking that all my opponent's words are good. I wouldn't want to let a phony slip through. Recurring 74 points. Now, I was hoping this wouldn't happen. I've drawn a P. I am not sure if recurring takes a P in front. Really don't know. This comes up time and time again when I'm reviewing recur and recurs and recurring, and I either try and put a P in front in my mind and it's not good, or I don't and it is good. Right now I don't know, and I'm not sure that I'm going to form a solid view on that. But looking at the rest of the rack, it's not great. I do have the Z, which is a good tile to have. Now, the great play would be putts at D12 across. That requires pre-curing to be good. Do I try it? Well, maybe the opportunity will go away if my opponent plays in column 11 or 13. But it's very, very tempting if it stays open. That's going to be a massive score. Nearly 80 points, I think. Well, my opponent's scoring well. He's got 96 points for Sharias and Jartas. They're both good. Well, I'm going to try putts, and this isn't a play out of desperation. It's because I genuinely think pre-curing is good. I just have some doubt. And if there was a good alternative play, I would certainly prefer to play it. Let's find out if this stays on the board. If it does, my rack is reasonably balanced. I don't have a bingo, either a 7 or an 8. This is an agonising wait to see if this stays on. If it does, I have a 59-point lead. But my opponent could well play through the Z and score 50 points, so we could actually be neck and neck. Now, I'm trying to focus on my rack whilst agonising over this move staying on. The board doesn't seem to be particularly open. There don't seem to be many bingo lanes, or sorry, many scoring opportunities available. I'd certainly like to play off my V. The rest of the rack is not bad, but if I were to play off just my V, it wouldn't be a good rack leave. The D, L, M and T together are not a great set of consonants, even though individually none of them is bad. Now I do have words on my rack. I have vild, I have valid. But what I'm lacking is somewhere good to play them. I'm looking in column 3 to see if I can play parallel to Jartas. It'd be good to place my V or my M at I3. Matai. Okay, I don't have Matai. Putts does stay on, that's great. That probably means that pre-curing is good. My opponent scores 51. He is now only 8 points behind. Now the E at B15 is promising because if I can get my V or my M at B10, I'm going to get a decent score. So it's certainly preferable to put the V there because then the triple word square in row A at A8 is not accessible. So do I have a 6-letter word beginning with V, ending in E? Well, I can't see one. That's a shame. That would be really good. What I do have, I've just seen, is Malvi down here. And this is really good. This is definitely going to sort the rack out and score well. 33 points. It leaves the E of wheeze open. That's not a particularly bad thing. If my opponent takes it with anything other than a bingo, he's likely to be opening up row A. And since, well, we're neck and neck, 8 points, but I have the tempo, it's me to go next. So if we score the same amount, I'm going to be scoring and then my opponent's going to be catching me. I mean, it's better to be that way around than to be doing the catching. So do I have anything better than Malvi? I think it's unlikely. It was an unpromising rack. And I couldn't see anything at B10. And putting the M at B10, I don't think is going to create a better score than Malvi. This is okay. It's not bingo-y, but it's balanced, and I have a scoring tile in the F, which is quite flexible. There are a lot of short words with Fs in them. What I'm doing now is looking at the board to see if there are any good spots for the F. There is J6, a triple letter square, but I can't play parallel to fetation to get it to score twice. Now looking away from the board and back at my rack, I'd like to play off the F in order to generate a good score, and I'd also like to resolve the duplicates, which are the D and the O. Doff is good. I don't know if that's playable anywhere. And there are 3 O's left, so it would be quite nice to play off both of my O's. So I could play footed. That would certainly help resolve this rack. And I could play that at N7 across. It's not going to score a lot. Or I could play food in the same spot, leaving DET. That's a good rack leave. Only 19 points, which isn't great, but it's taking out a bingo lane. At the moment, row N is a good bingo lane. Okay, my opponent obliges by taking it out, and he's provided a spot for me to play footed, which is great. This is ideal. My opponent is unfortunate, I think, to be creating such a good opening for me, given the dearth of opportunities available elsewhere. 40 points, that is great. And this isn't. I've got a Q, I've only got one vowel. It is a good vowel in that there are short words with the Q without the U. The U in putts is not available for me because only an E goes after an R. Now I do have Chi at G15 down. There are 9 tiles left. I'm 38 points in the lead. I've also got Chi or Chin at J4 across. I don't really like retaining duplicate D and duplicate L. So can I play my Q anywhere else? And if I don't, if I retain it, can I score well? I don't like retaining it. There are no U's left. There are no I's left. There's only one A left. So it's hard to see that there's a move better than playing Chi or Chin. Chin's going to be the better. Because playing off 2 tiles leaves me with 4 consonants on my rack instead of 5. And an extra vowel would certainly help this rack. Now, am I missing somewhere good for my Q? Caddy and Cade are both good. Well now I've got Chi at J11. 22 points. 8 more points than Chin, but I am retaining an extra consonant in my rack leave, so that's not obviously better. I've got Cat at G3 across, 27 points, leaving me with no vowels. Do I have anything better? Cat at M13 down, 24 points. This is quite an important moment in this game. Now there are 9 tiles left, so there are 16 unseen tiles. And there are 6 vowels, so I'm likely to draw a consonant. I think on that basis, well, I was going to say on that basis I should retain the vowel, but looking around there is the E of pre-curing and there is the I of Mulvey, so even if I had 7 consonants, I should be able to score. How good is that reasoning? The tiles that are left are pretty bingo-y. So can I stop my opponent from bingoing? Well, the bingo lanes are row C through the P of Prex, column 10 through the M of Mulvey. That's it. Neither of those is particularly dangerous, so I don't need to go out of my way to block them. So 14 for chin, or 28 for cat, 27 for cat. I think that vowel is just too valuable to give up. Okay. I do draw a second vowel. Having two vowels gives me a lot more flexibility than having just one. There are 7 tiles in the bag. Great, my opponent only gets 8 points. Now, what to do? I'm 44 points ahead. There are 3 tiles in the bag. I need to play off 2 tiles, so that if my opponent bingos, I've got the opportunity of having one more play. I'm only 44 points ahead. I've got 6 minutes on my clock. My opponent has 12. Now if I do play off 2 tiles, the D and the L are the prime candidates. I'm not sure I can play them for a good score. I can play them at F, 11 across. Now maybe I ought to consider if my opponent has got a bingo. Does he have one ending in M or penultimately with an M? No, not that I can see. And what about going through a P? Well, maybe he does. I'm wondering about playing clock just to take out the P. Doesn't create any new bingo lanes. But the advantage of leaving one in the bag is that my opponent can't plan a 2-move out with certainty. But do I really want to play lead for 4 points? It would be annoying if my opponent were to catch me just by outscoring. So if I am going to play more than 2 tiles, maybe I should play as many as possible. And if I try and play as many as possible, how many can I manage? I could play mock at H10 down, but that keeps 2 L's and 2 D's, which isn't good. Callop might be good, but I don't really want to provide 2 floaters. Now what about playing through the E of pre-curing? So I could play co-lead, 10 points, leaving DAL. That's quite a nice rack leave. But the score is terrible. What about playing through the R? No, I don't have anything which goes after the U. Wow, this is a really, really tricky rack. There certainly will be a best move. I have no idea what it is. Well, I'm worried about my opponent just catching me, so I am prioritising score. Can I do better than 16 points? What about Cled? Rack leave is much nicer. It's 13 points. It's not great. It empties the bag. But my rack leave is really flexible. And I'm taking out the floating M. Okay, I can now see what my opponent has got. He does not have anything through the P of Prec, so I don't think he can bingo. But he has scored 50 points, and wow, he's only 7 points behind. Right, and I've only got 2 minutes. How much can he score with his 2 E's? Probably about 10 points. Ah, this is an agonizing situation to be in. Gosh, I'm just not seeing anything. Where can I score? I've got no scoring tiles on my rack. Wow. What am I going to do? I certainly can't go overtime. That's just providing 10 points for my opponent. I've got Dale at L, 14 down. 10 points, that's not going to be enough. I've got a do across here. That's going to score a little bit more. I've no idea if this is going to be enough. I think possibly it won't. A do 19 points. That gives me a 26-point lead. 8 on countback. My opponent needs to score 18 to draw, 19 to win. This might be enough. Let's find out. I have not had a chance to look around and see what my opponent can do with his E's. He can play V at H, 14 down. Only 14 points, that's not going to be enough. He's got Meek, that's not going to be enough. But the 2 E's are a very flexible pair of letters, so there could be a sneaky way of slotting them in somewhere. Fortunately, I have not provided an opportunity with a do. If he only plays off 1 E, hoping that I'll run out of time, I've got a top at C3 across, and I need to have a second. Okay, he plays out. I click pass to end the game. Wow, look at that. Let me just do the courtesies. And the final score, 472 to my opponent, 476 to me, a winning margin of just 4 points. That was an extremely close game, and quite nerve-wracking. Let's see what I missed. Cled isn't good. Whoops. Okay. Well, yeah, okay, it's Icled, which takes a C in front, and yeah, okay, never mind. So this was my opening rack, and I could have had Tux, which I didn't consider, for 20 points, leaving UNW, but it is retaining the UW pair. It's probably close between Tux and changing. Here, Fetation was the best play, and there were plenty of others. There was Notified, Infotech, Fentheon, which I saw, Olefiant, and Flexion. Jarta looks like it was best. Prex looks like it was best. Recurring was the only bingo. Putts, 78 points, pre-curing was good. Great. Hopefully I will now remember that. Vidame, that was certainly better than Malvi. There was a 6-letter play beginning with the V onto the first E of Y's, which is what I was looking for. I didn't see it, but it was there. It was Vidame, 40 points. But Malvi was the second best play. Footed, here is where I was fortunate in that my opponent inadvertently provided a great spot. Caddy was playable. Oh, wow, look at that. Playable in column 3 onto the first eye of Brian. He's making jar and add. How annoying that I missed that. 36 points and playing off 3 tiles. Yep, that was remiss. And this is where I played phony, and I could have played clue at A13. Yeah, I was very fortunate to get away with that. Bruise was a great play by my opponent in the sense that it scored extremely well and really put the pressure on me. And here, a do, yeah, it does look like it was the best play. Although I could have got 1 extra point by paying Latu. Let's just see if my opponent had a better outspot than a V. No, he didn't. That's all he had. So, a totally thrilling game, 476 to 472. It's very high scoring and a really thin margin. Bit of a shame that a phony slipped through, but these things do happen in the heat of battle. I don't know how to summarize that game. I'm still caught up in the intensity of it, but I hope you enjoyed watching it and that you learned something from it. And thank you for watching. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.